It's time for another viewer match, and what I got for you today is a Zerg vs Protoss played on Proxima Station LE. Spawning in the bottom left corner, playing with the red Zerg pieces, we have none other than ClockMaker. And I gotta be honest, I love that nickname. I think that is a really badass nickname. And his opponent, I wonder if he actually makes clocks or whatever. But anyway, his opponent, spawning in the top right corner, playing with the blue Protoss pieces, we have none other than General Luke. I would like to think that is going to be a Star Wars reference right there, but, you know, maybe the guy's just called Luke and he's like, well, I'm a general. I'm in command of the Protoss pieces, and General Luke already going for a very fast pylon, actually, is sending that probe across. I think I know what this is. Yes, he is indeed gonna put down that fort. Now, judging from the load-up screen from this game right here, General Luke is currently in Platinum League, and his opponent is indeed unranked. Of course, there are quite a few people that will be playing unranked StarCraft 2 primarily. Now, General Luke does indeed see that there is a hatchery down. However, ClockMaker, you know, he's apparently, he's not so much concerned right here with the natural of ClockMaker, but instead, he's putting up the very first pylon, and he's most definitely gonna go for a cannon rush right here. He's putting up that very first pylon inside of the main of his opponent. Now, ClockMaker, ooh, this hurts. As a Zerg player primarily, he's putting up the spawning pool in a very risky position, and I think, considering General Luke, right, he won't be able to reach the main hatchery from this position whatsoever. He's just simply gonna put a cannon right here on the edge of creep, which is usually a terrible choice. He is going to be capable of shooting away at that spawning pool, guaranteed. And the spawning pool, it does not have vision of these building cannons just yet. I have no idea why General Luke decided to put the cannons up into the main base here first and foremost. But regardless, ClockMaker is going to be in quite a bit of trouble. Now, one thing to keep in mind, of course, is that that natural is completely uncontested. He can just simply transfer the workers over there if it turns out to be necessary. But General Luke going for another cannon right here. ClockMaker will quickly figure out exactly what's going on. He's getting himself a queen. Another cannon does get built because, of course, you gotta go for that crescent moon. If you can at all avoid it, you gotta make sure that you get that crescent moon going. A couple of drones already are being rallied here, but I think that General Luke is trying to get a wall off here at the top of the ramp, and I think that indeed does mean that ClockMaker rather wants to transfer all of those drones towards the natural. Actually, ClockMaker. I was gonna say, why are you sending them right over there? Why are you not right-clicking the minerals? I think he's actually going for a counterattack with the drones. Are you going for a worker rush? Is that really what just got triggered here by General Luke's cannon rush? Hold up. Let's do the math real quick. So, in total, there are 19 drones out, of which 3 are mining right here in the natural, so that would make 16. I did the math on that. Really good. Really high-class math right there. But there are 21 probes here available in total, and more are being added on. Now, there is a single probe here out on the other end of the map. Of course, General Luke, being the true cannon rusher that he is, he's just gonna simply put up more cannons. He's gonna be in a little bit of trouble, actually. There are a couple of Zerglings here. Technically speaking, as long as General Luke just simply attack moves, he should just simply be capable of getting the upper hand right here, right? Because probes do regenerate shields and all that. Drones, of course, great at battling it out as well, because they do regenerate out of combat very, very rapidly. So far, both players trying to micro back and forth. Now, I guess these two Zerglings right here in the middle of this combat are actually absolutely incredible. A little bit of miss micro right there by the Protoss player. 2 of these probes do end up falling for absolutely nothing. And I think actually having these handful of Zerglings in here absolutely changes up this engagement. I mean, a single cannon will go down. I like that decision right there by Luke. That will be able to shut down this aggression as well. A little bit of an awkward angle right here. Neither player using the mineral walking to their advantage to try and get the maximum damage in. But there are, you know, still Zerglings here nibbling away at as much of these probes as they can. And I think that somehow, some way, ClockMaker will end up getting... Wait. Did he just come out ahead? He also just built a natural, by the way. Inside of his opponent's natural, that is. I think somehow, some way, General Luke just lost that engagement. He was over-microing that fight. Generally speaking, right, you gotta make sure that you do as much damage as you can, but over-micro is a serious problem there. He was trying his very best to surround the drones or whatever. I'm not entirely sure, but it's all about the numbers at that point, right? I mean, the Zerglings apparently feeling a little suicidal. They're trying to get whatever damage they can. They did a lot of work there during the probe engagement. But somehow, there are now 11 drones out in total for the Zerg versus only 4 probes here for the Protoss, of which one is on the other end of the map. Or actually, no, it's currently transferring back home, realizing that its duties of cannon rushing are indeed fulfilled. I really don't know why it was cannon rushing this way, though. Like, what is that ever going to achieve? I mean, maybe if you manage to contain your opponent, it's going to be a decent option, but I mean, these cannons just simply don't hit the hatchery, right? So it makes me wonder if it's really worth it. Drones are now also once again being built here in the main base. ClockMaker realizing that he's really not in too much threat here in the main whatsoever, and he's actually capable of mining off of 3 hatcheries right now, of which one is, of course, inside of his opponent's main base. Now, actually, come to think of it, does General Luke know about... General Luke does have absolutely no idea that this is going on. I mean, he may have noticed that a couple of the drones were moving, you know, towards his natural, but other than that, I don't actually know if he's got any idea that this is going on. Now, he could see the outer edge right here of the creep if he is paying very, very close attention, but judging by his actions thus far, I don't really know. I don't really know if that's going to be the case. I mean, I don't want to be mean here to Luke, but I'm starting to get a little worried here because it's 26 drones already with more in the production tab, as well as a whole bunch of tumors apparently that are being spread here to the in-base expansion from ClockMaker, and already ClockMaker is actually pushing ahead in a very, very solid engagement there. Somehow, I don't actually know how he managed to win that. I mean, it was a decent engagement, all things considered, but I felt like General Luke should have just been able to win that with a little bit of micro and maybe some quicker response times right there on building that photon cannon, but he's not out of the game just yet. We all know, you know, how powerful the Protoss units can be, but the amount of workers that are out right now most definitely does tell a tale. I mean, that's 30 workers versus only 11. That does mean, of course, that ClockMaker is going to be capable of producing far more unit than his opponent is going to be capable of. General Luke, though, adding on a bunch of zealots right now as well. He doesn't really have a whole lot of tech here whatsoever. I guess he may be looking to just simply make a bunch of zealots and potentially switch into his cybernetics core here very shortly. He's just desperately building up more and more probes right now so he can start mining some additional gas. ClockMaker is going to be able to get a peek right here of his opponent's natural. But I guess these Zerglings, I mean, they're not going to be enough. I mean, unless he move commands with the Zealots continuously. But I think that these Zealots will be more than enough to clean up these links. And that is the kind of move that General Luke is going to need here. If he wants to win this game, he's going to have to try his very best and just simply get as much value out of his units as he can be looking for. And actually, gotta be honest, that +1 attack there, very, very good. It does make the Zealots significantly stronger against unupgraded Zerglings in particular. Once that upgrade finishes up, the Zerglings will die in 2 hits from a Zealot rather than 3, which is actually a really, really big deal. But ClockMaker, I mean, he's sort of showing his hand right now. I think he's making the assumption his opponent knows exactly what's going on, and he is gonna go ahead and start assaulting the Protoss here from the inside out. I would love to see a Roach Warren right now. A Roach Warren here from ClockMaker would be the best logical decision here, and I think that while these Zealots, I mean, they're getting a bunch of value off, though. There may just be a little bit too many Zerglings. General Luke trying to micro towards that cannon. Nice little bit of disengage right there, making sure that these Zealots can once again heal up their shields. But the thing is, once this pylon falls, the amount of production here that General Luke will have is going to be very, very, very minuscule. I mean, he keeps the pylon alive for a little while longer, but more and more Zealots are indeed joining into this engagement. And while ClockMaker did not get the Roach Warren earlier, I don't know actually why he built the spawning pool inside of the opponent's main, by the way. I don't really know exactly what the point of that is. I mean, you've got the base right over here as well, but he's going to be capable of getting himself a Roach Warren here too. And I think that he may very well be able to close this one out with relative ease. Of course, units like, for example, the Ravager are going to be absolutely incredible. I don't think that tumor will stay up for very long, my man. I don't think that tumor will stay up for very long. No, it will indeed get shut down almost immediately. And while General Luke is trying his very best to contain the creep spread for a little while longer, I mean, he's getting himself a couple of cannons up. I feel like it's mostly just delaying the inevitable because all of his unit-producing structures and really all of his tech are currently shut down. Gas is indeed being taken right now as well by ClockMaker. He's still adding on more and more drones. A little bit risky right there because he's already more than doubling his opponent when it comes to the worker count. I mean, he just simply has got a ton of stuff. ClockMaker trying his best to produce as many units as he possibly can off of the bases that he's got. I think he's just simply waiting, though, to produce a couple of roaches here instead. Queen apparently feeling a little suicidal. A single Zealot may very well decide to head down there. I would love to see some roach production and to put these drones into the gas geyser. Because, I mean, all you really need to do right now, right, is prevent the Zerg, or the Protoss rather here, from moving down towards the low ground. And I think that General Luke will indeed be contained off of a single base. I guess another option would be, I guess, for a ClockMaker to do is to just simply wait for him to mine out this single base. I mean, that will only be a couple of minutes from now, maybe a minute or 2 or 3. essentially, until this base is fully mined out. And at that point, Protoss is going to be almost entirely broke. Now, judging by the amount of resources that ClockMaker has right now, I don't think, you know, the unranked rank may have been that far off. I wouldn't be surprised if this was actually one of his placement matches and maybe General Luke is like Platinum League in like 3v3s or 4v4s or whatever. Just judging by the amount of, you know, spending that both of these players have, even though General Luke is currently only on a single base, he's also flooding his fair share of resources. But I think that the longer this game goes on, the further ClockMaker will get ahead. I like the amount of drones that he's gotten away with. Now I would love to see him spend the resources that he's got. So much idle larva here available, but finally we do see some units here in production. ClockMaker is going to try and build some roaches as well as some additional Zerglings. I think in particular Ravagers here would be absolutely incredible because they will be able to deal with all of these units with absolute ease. Going after that single pylon, now of course you can't underestimate the strength of cannons there. Cannons do still do plenty of damage, but there indeed we do see some Ravagers going down, 5 of them in total. That will be more than enough to shut down this pylon, and I think at that point the majority of these cannons will be unpowered, with maybe the exception right here up to the north. But already you can see these mineral patches are starting to run out, and in only a couple of seconds from now the Protoss will be forced to make a move for this as well. Corrosive Biles are being lent. They will be able to shut down at least 2 of these cannons here already. He's gonna go after the next pylon here as well. Of course, the probes will be pushed here, right, or pulled here as well to try and get us around on these workers, but or get us around on these Ravagers instead. But ClockMaker, indeed, with the worker rush, ends up obtaining the victory. One of the most interesting responses, to be honest, to seeing someone go for a cannon rush and then to see his opponent completely pull all of the workers as well as a handful of Zerglings to the other end of the map. And he was indeed capable of obtaining the victory. I hope you enjoy watching this game, even though it's a little shorter than the other ones that we have casted so far. You can see, right? There's definitely, like, since I've been casting, like, a wide variety of games, right? Anywhere from, like, placement matches all the way up to Master League. There is most definitely a skill, you know, difference between all of the players. So, let me know what your preferences are down below in the comment section of the video. I definitely enjoy watching these games right here as well. But I can imagine they are maybe a little bit less epic, so, to watch compared to some of the higher league ones. I mean, there's gotta be people that will be upset because these players are flooding resources, right? And I mean, what do you really expect? There's always people that will get upset whenever those kinds of moments happen. But to be completely honest with you, I think these games are a lot of fun as well, and I love featuring them. Just because you can see the different kinds of playstyles and the different kinds of strategies that people execute at the different levels of StarCraft 2. Let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comment section of the video. Other than that, though, I want to thank you very much so for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile, alright? And I will see you in the next one.